was in college, I was studying architecture, and I realized that there's a lot of issues in the world, and what I was learning in school wasn't solving any of them. So I went on to look at various things in permaculture and was exposed to biodynamic farming, and realized that agriculture, architecture, there's a few things that human beings need. We need a roof over our head, we need warmth, we need water, we need soil, right? So thinking about these things, I started investigating, what are the solutions? We're facing a lot of challenges here in the future. So how do we navigate this? Are we going to have a functioning climate, a functioning political system? These are the things that I still think about today. And what I realized was getting your hands in the soil and learning to grow your food, and relocalizing economies and building community is some of the most important work that can be done today. And I really do believe that each one of us is the solution.
About half of all the land used in the United States is used for agriculture. It also accounts for the consumption of 80 to 90% of water, along with 16% of the total energy production for transportation, manufacturing, and processing. Yet the greatest irrigated crop in the United States is 3 times bigger than the largest food crop. NASA has estimated that there is 63,000 square miles of grass in the United States, all while depending on big agricultural systems which waste up to 40% of all the food that is grown. Large-scale monocrop farms are grown with pesticides and herbicides, some of which have become illegal over the years due to the discovery of their link to cancer. Now, despite national debate, much of the food grown is genetically modified without labeling. According to the National Resource Defense Council, our current food manufacturing system wastes an approximate $218 billion a year worth of food, while 42 million Americans face food insecurity. Just a third of the food wasted could provide food security for everyone. 52% of all vegetables, 50% of seafood, 38% of grains, 22% of meat, and 20% of milk is lost due to food waste as the single largest component of waste in landfills. Grass requires a little over half a gallon per square foot to thrive. It requires maintenance, weeding, and mowing to meet community standards. At the same time, a garden plot also requires approximately the same amount of water per square foot, except once it's grown, you don't have to mow it, you can eat it. There are 9 billion gallons of water used in landscaping, which is more than laundry and showering combined. Grass doesn't come without benefit. It has a cooling effect on the environment, it cleans the air, it reduces runoff. However, it simply isn't as beneficial as growing food in your own yard. Right now in California, there's over $1 million initiative for desertscaping, and it's creating a desert climate in California. They're trying to save water, but instead it's just creating more runoff. After seeing the grass lawns outside our window being sprayed with chemicals in order to dry out and turn the landscape into a desertscape, we decided that enough is enough. We left our 2-bedroom apartment we were living in at the time and dedicated our life to the road and set our map to some of the most ecological places and events out there. We started a quest to find the most sustainable businesses, ecological innovations, and farming methods around the world. At these events, we had the chance to interview some amazing innovators in the regenerative world today and talk to the visitors about living ecologically. On our trip, we learned a lot about different methods of farming and got to see some of the world's most influential ecological problems and how to solve them by taking initiative. So growing up, my family grew food. My mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, everybody, they grew their own food. So when me and my mom came to America and saw that everybody was just growing grass and focusing on the grocery store for everything that they needed, at first it was kind of a culture shock. And I forgot about it. I just got used to the culture in America. But then when I had my own kid and I realized how many pesticides and how it's all being trucked around, I realized that growing food locally is probably the best solution to the problems that we have. It's just for everybody to use the water that they're currently using to grow grass and grow food and grow the food next to them, close to them. And so we're going to travel and see how it's being done back in Poland. Everybody, I'm in Poland. This is where I grew up. This is my grandmother's garden, my great-grandmother's garden, and we have everything growing here, from flowers to potatoes to peas to cucumbers, everything that you could possibly need. They've been self-sustainable for generations, and we're going to show you around to see how everything grows. So my family, they stay in apartments and they walk to the farms. They take a bus and they go there every single day. And everybody in the community has this little farmhouse. It's like a little vacation house that they grow their food in. So even though they live in apartments, they have this separate space that they could just get away to, their little Garden of Eden of their own. And all this is peas and growing right alongside flowers, fruit trees, berries, enough berries to fill up a carton, all different kinds of vegetables. And the flowers in the garden are meant to keep the pests aside. And my grandmother does this out of passion. She just really loves to garden. She grows more food than she can eat, and she does it year after year. She's retired and this is what keeps her going. She just loves doing it. It's beautiful to look at, and this is something that could be done in everybody's lawn. She does all this, planted all this stuff. Very possible. I mean, this is so much more beautiful than growing grass. And I believe that with our technology, she walks around with a pan watering everything by hand, but we have automatic irrigation systems, and this could be much easier for us. And once it's done, it's done. It's just about maintenance, pulling some weeds, a little here, a little there, but it's therapeutic. It's very therapeutic, and it's not mowing the lawn. It's actually taking care of your food. And like this, when you grow your food like this, you know where it comes from. Here we have a whole field of potatoes that's going to last you through the whole winter. And after the cucumbers and everything grows, everything gets pickled for the winter so that it will last. And they have a basement that's underground. It's pretty much a refrigerator. So here at my grandma's farm, she makes her own wine, which is absolutely delicious. She makes her own jams, she pickles her own cucumbers, she has potatoes, she grows enough potatoes to last through the winter. Other than that, my 70-year-old grandmother did this all by herself, which I think is absolutely incredible. Everybody makes so much excuses of how hard it is to grow food, and here my 70-year-old grandmother did this whole plot of land all by herself. So we stayed at my aunt's house, and she lives on a farm off the edge of Białystok, which is where I was born, and this is the beginning of her farm. It's just small sprouts, and as they grow, growing bigger and bigger. She's got flowers growing throughout the place. Pumpkins, zucchini. She's got a well. And this is how she pickles it. Puts the pickles with all the ingredients into the well water, and she could store in there all winter. And she keeps everything pickled up, whatever's left over from the season. So this is when it was still small, and this is how big it got. This giant beet. And it tastes like sugar, and it's not genetically modified. She's got chickens, she's got fresh eggs every single day. They give the chickens scraps, all the leftovers from the day is the chicken's meal. She's got all different kinds of fruit bushes, all different flowers. She's got an entire orchard of trees, strawberries throughout the field, all kinds of apple trees, nut trees. Then after visiting our family in Poland, we went to go visit our family in Israel to see how ecological innovations have been developed there. The Hava and Adam Ecological Institute is really amazing. It's in the middle of the desert, and they're growing tons of food. It's a complete oasis. They're collecting rainwater, they're reusing their gray water, they're growing sustainably, they're growing all kinds of food in a really, really hot climate. And they've got these wonderful cob houses that actually keep cool. The inside of the cob house feels like air conditioning. So they have students come from all over the world to learn about how to grow food and how to be sustainable.